Like, how do you start something different? That was great. I mean, come on, we have a great notice what we're all about is trying to really give people an opportunity to shine, to become the best that they can be, to find new ways, new heights. You know, and when I look around and I see the faces around this room, I think about the fact that we are growing. We're bringing on amazing people, and it's a pleasure to do so. It really, really is. So the next few days, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about the good stuff, the stuff that we've been doing for a very long time. We're going to talk about the new stuff. And sometimes when you're out there and you're saying, gee, what's going on here? Is it all working? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? What's guiding us? What's this all about? Well, you know, this is what's called a business plan. Okay, so it sounds boring. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. But inside here, it was our path. It's a path that we set out and agreed upon with Julie, Joe, Sean, Tim, John, and I. We were out with this plan last fall. Put it in writing, and off we went. Now, the good thing about a plan is that it's just that. It's sort of like a guide, a roadmap. You're on a path. But what happens when you're on that path is you must adapt and you must change. And you must be willing to look at what you're doing and say, hey, is this working? Is this working? And then if it is working, keep going and push harder. If there's an opportunity, get creative and find new ways. And if it's not working, be smart enough to analyze it and move on to find something that, of course, is working. So here in this company, we have a lot of new things. You know where we are, you know what we're doing. But do you know how amazing we actually are? I mean, I'm not standing up here with a ho-hum feeling. The fact is that last week, we had a record day. A record day. What was it? $354,000. I actually knew that number. Not only did we have a record day, but we had a record week. We had a record week. Now, Jim is going to be celebrating with us. That's right. Stan Sussman, somebody take their calculator out and please multiply that times 50. Because that's what we should be doing, right? Isn't that what we should be doing? Wrong. Wrong. And if you think I'm kidding, I'm really not. Because when I look at Teresa's eyes today, Jeanette walked in, she's like, I'm sitting in the back, don't look at me, don't see me. If I fall asleep, don't worry. You know what? Everybody, there was work all over this company to get to this number. This took a lot of effort. And I want to talk about where that came from and why it's so amazing. But in order to do so, I want you to know that in the back of this business plan is a fable, a story about a company called PFP. And in this story, I think it will make sense how I feel about where we are today and where we're going tomorrow. So if you would indulge me, I will read to you the story. Here we go. Fear not the challenges you face. Fear the solutions you cannot see. Once upon a time, since 1973 that is, PFP had been selling insurance in the credit union industry. Sales were primarily made by having conversations with credit union members, face to face in credit union lobbies, or, thank God, from last week, at the credit union select employer groups. One day, someone started looking at things differently and began to focus attention on selling credit union members over the phone rather than face to face. This at the time was considered strange, different, maybe even a little crazy. While many team members felt that PFP would always have access to credit union members in the lobbies, there was a feeling by some that the credit union lobby traffic was dwindling, and in the long run, this would be a big problem for PFP. That is, unless they successfully changed the way they sold. Their iceberg was melting, and they had to change. Gaining buy-in in this new philosophy was slow and had challenges along the way. There was a need to prove the new way of thinking over and over again. Each time, the small team of believers reiterated that no solution is guaranteed. Some people said, "You're crazy to believe that," whatever it is that you're saying. And others said, "You're crazy not to believe that." Either way, there was a growing attention to the issue. The leadership of PFP said, "Let's not panic. Let's get together and plan for the future now. We need to come up with many ideas, educate the entire organization, and track the key indicators." As different challenges were presented to the team, each was overcome with patience and persistence. The facts associated with the tracking and work performed by the team created a growing sense of urgency. Small teams were strategically formed to work collaboratively with the rest of the organization to test and find new ways to access the credit union members over the phone and to track results. Soon, the fears of the majority began to dissipate as the entire organization realized that finding new ways to access people to have conversations was not such a new thing at all. In fact, the entire company was founded on an innovative concept of having conversations with credit union members in their lobbies. That concept was new at the time. Within about 15 years of operations, however, PFP sought new means of accessing the credit union members and potential members as they pursued those conversations with employees at their select employer groups of PFP's credit unions. Today, the organization is inspired once again to become proactive in their pursuit of something new. More and more focus was applied on how to effectively direct conversations with credit union members over the phone to measure the results. As the iceberg melted, PFP moved to safer grounds, identifying the opportunity as it presented itself. The leadership of PFP began to educate the teams. This communication led to more collaboration and a belief in each other. The culture of teamwork and trust became the expected and the norm. As the teams produced small wins, there were company-wide celebrations. More and more people got involved to help execute the plans. In total, the work-life experience became fun and inspiring for everybody. Moving together became the corporate culture. The teams did not delay in executing their plans and finding new ones. They did not waste time. As one idea was tested and analyzed, another one commenced. When one solution was found, PFP did not stop. When a better solution was found, PFP did not stop. Even when the best solution was found, PFP will not stop. This is the story of PFP, and this is why we will be here into the future, regardless of the challenges that we face in a changing world. PFP is positioned to embrace change, and they all lived happily ever after. Comments about this. Facts is that we have a lot of belief in what we do. Our carriers believe in what we do. Our carriers are investing in us as we pursue new grounds, as we find new ways to continue to be relevant, and access, and sell, and have conversations. Both SML and Combined have invested in our future. They're actually in with the program. Just as far as a couple things, we talked about lead purchasing at one point. Well, that's an idea we tested. We're no longer pursuing that. We've postponed outside companies because we've decided to focus on funding innovations, a new value proposition, and a partnership with Combined. We've also added to our plan 2 new products that we are building and pursuing. One of them is a term product that we're working very feverishly on to launch this year. And the other is a cancer product that will trigger conversations so that we can talk about the family security plan. We are not stopping. Whatever was in this report here has already changed. Last week, Last week, 38% of our sales were, I'm sorry, this month, 38% of our sales are in the branches so far. Now that's because of a massive week at what? In our off-sites, right? 37% of our sales were at off-sites this month so far, 25% over the phone. Think about that. When was it that it was 90% in the branches? When was it that it was always 50% in the branches and then we divided the rest? When we have an idea like nursing, when we have an opportunity to go out and push one of our channels and access people the way we did, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter whether it's branches. If we have another opportunity to go do something with the off-sites, if we have some way to reach people over the phone, folks, this is us finding ways to do this together. We're going to continue to pursue this stuff. We're going to find ways to start adding to our credit union clients. Our family of credit unions must grow. We know that. When our family grows, all of a sudden, all three of those channels will have a positive move forward. Because there are branches that are busy enough for us to be in. There are opportunities where there are credit unions that want to use us for their business development. And we always should be able to reach folks over the phone. This is the stuff you're going to hear about over the next 2.5 days. So open up your minds. The most important thing is to be creative. Let it all out. Whatever you want to say, say it. We need great ideas. We need to pursue ways for us to improve. Because nothing we do is perfect. And we all know that. So I want to welcome everybody to Connecticut. Brought the sunshine. You can each take responsibility for that. And let's go and have a great few days. Thank you.